It is a great honor and a privilege to introduce Gaby Kosman. We're here in your beautiful home in Beit Vegan in Jerusalem. And Gaby, you were born in France.
In France.
So if you could tell a little bit about your family background.
I born in Paris in 1938 in Paris, and I have a brother. He's also born in France. He born in 1933. 33, yes. He is old for me 5 years. My family come to France in 1965. 1665 in French. He was in Paris, and not my grandfather, the father for my grandfather, it was a rabbi, as this in Ivrit we says Rosh Yeshiva.
He was the Rosh Yeshiva, yes, he was the head of the Yeshiva.
He was Professor Harav Lazar. He was in Metz, Yeshivat Metz, the Yeshiva Yedua in Metz. It was Rosh Yeshiva. And Napoleon bet him if he can take the yeshiva to Paris. And he takes the yeshiva in Paris, and Napoleon
He knew Napoleon?
Yes, he takes the yeshiva. And he
met Napoleon? Your great-grandfather met Napoleon?
Yes. He received from the little Napoleon the 30. It was 1 and 3. It was not 2. Okay. In French we say le petit Napoleon. Okay? He received a medal honor from him, because he takes the yeshiva to Paris, and he was one of the Sanhedrin. Napoleon takes the Sanhedrin in French. Okay. After the son, it was Rav in French. Another, it was a Mohel.
He did a circumcision?
No, Mohel,
yeah.
Mohel, yes. And they lived in French. It was, I know how much, but I think it was 23 years also in Strasbourg. And he come back to Paris. So it was a family from rabbis, and from Mohalim, Shochatim. It was a radical, French.
Very traditional,
kosher, Tateim. How you say in English?
They were
Dateim.
They were very religious,
Yes,
religious.
Religious.
Very religious.
Yes, a family religious. It not was no many Jews religious in Paris. In French, Yes, but not in Paris. It was shul, temple, yeah, and the rabbis, moalim, shochatim, and was also business from silver and zahav, gold, yes. And they lived in French. אני מדלג. I pass to my father. My father is born in London because my grandmother, it was family Lang in London, and the 2 years they lived in London. After they come back to Paris. My father, it was soldat in French.
He was in the French soldier.
In מלחמת העולם הראשונה.
In the First World War.
The First World War. And he was in Verdun. Verdun was many soldates.
Many.
You know. And he is after the war, he have 3 medals from the צבא הצרפתי.
From the French army.
Right, yes. After he and his brother, they lived in Paris, and the first coma,
the first floor,
it was a great חנות.
A shop
from today we say electronica, it's not electronica, it's what חשמל.
Like yes. Electrical,
yes. And my father learned in Technologia in Sorbonne.
In the Sorbonne. Wow.
Yes, and he was today you say חשמלאי,
like electrician.
Yes. And this was the first years that it was radio. The radio is not menorot, it's not the radio is also with a stone, and you take 2
like a filament. It had a filament.
And they don't fabric.
Wow,
the radio.
They had like a factory.
As many years they shop after it was menorot. You know what menorot? And they גרו. They lived the 2 and the 3
stories about.
Story about, כן. No. And
do you know which street they were on?
Yes, I know the street. I know.
What was it called? Do you remember?
I know the street. And Pyrenees, no משנה. And after Germany, the 2 war, they come to France, and it was 1940. They come. The passport to that זהות, it was no right Jews. But, you know, it was under French, they said the Jews. No. My father and my mother is coming as I lived with him, and I was born at 38, and after 2 years, the Germany come to France. As they leave Paris and to Lyon. After Lyon, they go to not Marseille, Lyon. After they go to another. And he have not work, my father, as his work, you can...
No, it's good.
סוכן, איך אומרים סוכן? הוא עבד בשביל...
He worked for somebody.
For somebody, electronic, shoes. His word, it was with post, and he take הזמנות.
He took people would they would do orders, like orders.
Yeah, orders, and he שלח.
And he would send it.
He would send this to the and so, but after they was in Lyon and not in another in our building they heard מצלצלים.
They were knocking.
But it was the soldat from Gestapo.
Wow.
But they don't לחפש.
They didn't look for.
They not look for Jews. They look that my father, maybe he is against the Gestapo. מחתרת.
Like resistance.
Resistance, yes. But my father, they take my father and my aunt, they take to the police and they go. When the 2 hours they was in our apartment, but this is Shabbos. It was pamutim. They don't look. But it was sidurim, it was a sidur. And my grandmother from Germany, the mother from my mother, grandmother, yes, my father say the sidur, he with 2 hands דחף אותה, he pushed.
She pushed.
My grandmother and the seat of the sidur. It's not fair. You push, but when she sit of the sidur, she understand the thing because my father pushed her. Yes, but no Jews. After my father, שחררו אותה.
They were released.
My father jumped from, I don't, 2 קוטל או 2 קומה, איך אומרים?
2 stories.
No stories.
קומה, it's levels, 2 levels.
2 levels to עץ.
To a tree.
A tree. And it was the night, and she jumped to the tree and go and love.
Wow.
Yes. And we was next year. It wasn't not the politics from French was that all families, they have they have children go from Paris because it's bomb, and also Lyon, and they go to another place, and after 2 weeks, my father find my mother with 2 years, and he begin the same word was he first in Lyon. But the Germany look to the Jews later, and my father think what he can. In the first world, he have a friend, not a Jew. He called the captain. He was in the village. He in Israel is great, but thought is not great. Is against the Église. He bikesh.
He asked him.
She took me and my brother. He paid. יהיה בסדר גמור. יהיה good.
But it was still very dangerous.
Yes.
It was still dangerous.
Yeah. No, זה הילדים שלו. זה הסכים. After, I think, half years, he cannot take he said, the little Oti, he can, by my brother, it was 12. He cannot. Not 12, it was 8 or 9. My father find חקלאי, איך אומרים חקלאי? חקלאות. פרות, שדות. עיקר, אחד שעובד באדמות.
Like a farmer.
כן, a farmer. And he was there. He was 2.5 years. But it's not good. They were 2 old men, and they and don't eat. This one is my brother take his valise. It was with ets, no?
With the wood.
Yep. And he go to a family. It was a bet yatumim.
It's an orphanage.
Yes, orphanage. It was him. He was I don't know if an half year or more. And one Laila.
One night.
He come here, take your valise and go from here. Miyad.
Immediately.
Don't wait. You take money. Go to your parents. Your parents. It don't was because nothing. Go.
Who told him to go?
Yes. Yes.
In the orphanage, they told him
Yes.
to go.
It was, the reason is because he hear that the Germany come to take the 200 children to Auschwitz, to a rakevet,
To the train.
to Auschwitz. Go, don't ask. And he come to my parents. I was in the captain.
Where were you?
In not Marseille, Maximieux. I was as a Christian, not. I go to the Église, I go to all what they say, I must.
Did they take you to the church?
Yes, but okay?
And do you remember it?
No. I remember the mad mode.
Very little.
Italy. After it was not I think that it was in 1944, 45, the English and the American come and take the in French and take out the Germany with a tank, you know. And my father understand English. After I not 5 or 6 weeks, he heard English. And he understand that American come. They open the door in Martef.
It's like a cellar.
Yeah, yes. And he saw the camion. You know what was this camion? Jeep and camion is okay. He said the soldat, American, they give him mastic, I don't know.
Chewing gum.
Okay. And she come back, open the Mardef,
The cellar.
and he say, les Américains sont venus. The American come. Said the Balat Habayit,
The owner of the house.
yes, said, your Lord, Hashem, shamar, guard
He got.
of us. My father asked, what is your God? What is your God? She said, you are Jews, no? What is you are Jews? I know all of yours. How do you know? My husband is a great commander in the Gestapo. And when you come, as I ask him if, as he said, I am not here, I am in Germany, I am in France, you can take. But all of us, he know.
It's unbelievable.
Yes.
It's a miracle.
Yes. This is the story. After that, my father return to Paris, but they took all the electronics, the חשמל, the רהיטים,
Furniture.
furniture, that it was my father bet משפט, in
a court.
a court, but the judge said you received nothing.
And Gaby, when did you see your parents again?
I see my parents after 2 years, after 2.5 years, in Maximio, in the Captain, the commander.
And what do you remember? Do you remember seeing your parents again? Do you remember it?
No.
You were,
No.
You were still very small.
No, I was no very small, but
What is your first recollections? What is the first thing you remember?
I remember I was in the church. I remember I go in the street, but לא דברים חשובים, not
important things.
important thing. No.
And do you remember at all seeing your parents again?
Yes. Yes.
It must have been very emotional when you saw them.
No emotional.
No?
I was 2.5 years in the nothing.
And when you saw your brother?
The same. The same. I know I have a brother, but because בהתחלה,
in the beginning,
it was with me.
Oh, and then they took him.
Yeah, as I know that. And after...
And Gaby, can I ask, the people that looked after you, were they kind to you? Were they good to you?
Yes. To me, yes. It's good.
They didn't want to make you a Christian or convert you?
I was little.
And did they feed you well and they treated you well?
No.
It was good?
Yes. To my brother, no, but here was. And he take us, my father get us, and he say, 7 generations I lived in French. הגיע הזמן, the time come, we come to Israel. Palestine.
It was under the
But
British.
but he have a passport English. He is born in London. As we received רישיון, we
got
come
permission?
in a ship Metroa. In the same ship was children from Auschwitz, the פליטים יהודים.
Refugees.
And the רב הראשי from Tel Aviv, from Israel, הרב לאו.
He was in the same
He
ship?
was the same ship as you, his brother also, Lavi, also, was the same ship. And we come to Israel
In what year?
In Haifa.
Do you know what year?
No. I know. Is right in the but is right.
But it was after the war?
Yes. And we was in athlete because it was a typhus and it was bדיקות and
They did examinations.
and they take me to Mossad from Aliyah, Tel Ranan, and my brothers they take to also another in Petach Tikva. Yes. And my parents say, I'm to Jerusalem. Jerusalem is a holy. They come to Jerusalem. They was in Givat Shaul 1 year, so 1.5 years, and after again my father was מנהל.
He was the head.
From le journal de Jérusalem. C'est עיתון.
Oh, the newspaper.
The newspaper in French.
The French newspaper.
1 minute. I have a telephone. 1 minute.
Your father was the Manahal,
Yes.
in the French newspaper.
Yes, yes. This is not religious. This was Mapaya. Yes. And they.
The newspaper wasn't religious.
No.
But your parents were religious.
Zionist.
But your parents, they were religious?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And they live in Rehov HaNevi'im. You know what is Rehov HaNevi'im? The cottage, not cottage, the קומה שנייה.
On the second floor?
It is not three, only. And after comes the war from Shihur,
the War of Independence.
And the Hagana.
There was the...
ביקשו, איך אומרים ביקשו?
They asked.
ביקשו.
They requested.
They request that our apartment, not a great, the apartment, סולדט from הגנה, יגורו שם.
That they will stay there.
כן, with me. I was a little with me. Because from our apartment, they saw מגרש הרוסים.
Oh, they saw the Russian compound.
And the Arabs was it.
Wow.
Yes. But he speak very good English, my father, and one of intelligence from the England was in איך אומרים מודיעין.
He was in intelligence.
And he was Jews. He came to us. He eat us. He take my father, me and my brother with English jeep, and we go to the Kotel.
That's the Western Wall.
Yes, and we come back. After, we don't say, but the Arabs know that our apartment is soldat. They should bomb from fire. But 2 days before came the קצינים from Hagana,
the captains of the Hagana,
and say to us, this is dangerous, as better we go from now. And we have not how to go. We go to the Menorah Kluk, is in Jerusalem, yes, and we was one cheder,
one room,
and in the madrigot,
in the steps,
the fourth state, and we bombed. It was bomb. We get down. In my mother, in this time, you cannot buy bread, גבינה,
cheese,
cheese, only with bulim.
You had stamps, food stamps.
Yes. As he got the stamps, he go to Rehov HaNevi'im to buy
it was rationed.
Yes. She says the shatiach,
the carpet.
The shatiach, yes, is in the מרפסת. קשור מרפסת. Go down, was it? She approach, and she say, the whole apartment is fire.
Wow.
And before, my father sent to the Rebbe Michabad, when he was student, he lived in our apartment in French, in Paris.
The Lubavitcher Rebbe.
Lubavitcher Rebbe, yes. כן. And when he,
Menachem Schneerson.
I don't know, but the last. He was
Menachem
student,
Schneerson.
yeah.
Because he studied in the Sorbonne. He
כן,
studied-
כן, כן. אז he sent and he received, go back from the apartment. It was 2 days before we leave. We leave.
It's a miracle.
Yes, yes. And after was the מלחמת השחרור.
The War of Independence.
Yes, my father, the journal don't, לא היה כבר, זה מלחמה.
It was finished.
אז היא לתקן. חשמל, רדיו,
Yeah.
כן. היהודים רצו לשמוע רדיו.
He started working with the radios.
כן. And after
He fixed
he
radios.
fixed it, yes. And after we come back to Haifa, and in Haifa, Parnasa, my father was 55. Having Parnasa.
He didn't have a living to make.
מחלק עיתונים. He
was
sent
selling,
the journals
newspaper.
in the תיבות דואר.
Wow.
Jerusalem Post and Davar, I don't know. After he was סוכן של מכבי, ואתה יודע מה.
Wow. It's amazing, sure.
Yes.
And Gaby, can I ask, with your family, what happened to your parents, their family, to your aunts and your uncles and your grandparents?
The Germany taking. Karlbach. I have a aunt.
You've got a aunt, Karlbach.
Karlbach in London, in Manchester. Yes, but there was they take to Auschwitz.
And they were killed.
בוודאי.
Most of the family never survived?
Most of them. But it was. I have a uncle in USA, in London. Yes, there's a, and in Manchester, in Strasbourg.
And in France, do you have any family besides from Strasbourg? In Paris, is there any family?
I have a cousin.
A cousin.
A cousin.
And Gaby, did your parents know Guggenheim, Rabbi Guggenheim?
I think yes, but I don't.
Okay, because he was, there were generations also rabbis in Paris and in France. Please, if you could show the pictures.
Yes. This
Got
is
amazing pictures of your
this
family.
is my grandmother. He came from Germany, from Würzburg. You see?
And
She was with us the whole 2 years, the whole מלחמה,
the whole war.
all work. And she come with us to Israel, and she rest in Haifa. I have היה לי a aunt, yes, my sister from my mother, and she was.
And here's a picture of your mother.
This is my mother, and the נכד,
The grandchild.
and this is the mother from my wife.
Okay. That's at the Kotel.
Yes. This is my mother. Estikon from Würzburg. This is my father.
Is he very learned? Yeah, he's...
Yeah, no, he was a barb. This is last year. This is my father in French.
Gaby, it's amazing.
You take the picture. I will find another pictures and I send to you.
Okay, Gaby, I just want to ask you,
Yes.
what message do you tell your children and grandchildren if they ask you for a message or advice? What?
Bli Ain Hara, I have 4 children and I have 20 ninim.
Grandchildren.
No.
Great-grandchildren.
Grandchildren.
Great-grandchildren.
Yes.
And grandchildren?
Grandchildren, I don't know, but 20
Great-grandchildren. Wow.
Yes.
Gaby, hold on. I just want to thank you.
Yeah.
But what advice do you give? What Eitzah? Eiza Eitzah Atay Cholatay?
Oh my God.
Because you were saved by righteous goyim, righteous
Yes.
Gentiles.
Yes.
So if your children, what advice do you impart on to the next generations?
I think you must be very good to the other. If they Jews, if they not Jews, is Arab, you must the all times good, take good with the answer.
Because that's what happened to you. Good people looked after you.
Okay.
Wow. So Gaby, I just want to thank you.
No.
And, I'm so grateful to you. Gaby, really, thank you so much. It's been such a mamash honor and a privilege to be.
My English is
No, it was amazing. But Gaby, you know what? It came from your heart. Don't worry. Gaby, I just want to thank you so much. And your story, it's miracles. It's really miracles. That you, first of all, that non-Jews, they risked their lives to save you. And that your family remained from, that they came here. It's incredible.
When he was in Haifa, the first apartment, it was in Shchuna Aravit.
In an Arab neighborhood.
We are in the 2 stage. And
second story.
It was Muslim, and other it was Notzrim,
Christian.
And every Shabbos in the Bachorif,
in the winter.
In the winter, they come and
they lit
the neft, tanur neft.
It was like oil.
Oil, yes. And every Chag.
Every holiday.
In the Christian, it was משפחת יונס. חשובה, מאוד חשובה.
Important family.
Important, כן. My father get to him, sit hours with him.
And with the Muslim family,
1 minute.
Gaby, thank you so much. Gaby, באמת, תודה רבה.
תודה רבה. אנחנו שמחים רק לעזור לאחרים.
It's a wonderful message, Gaby.
אני אשלח לך תמונות.
Gaby, you learned in Yeshivat Hebron, in Geula.
In Geula, Yeshivat Hebron. And the first months when I come to Yeshivat Hebron, Arab Moshe Kursak learned me.
He taught you?
Yes, he told me, okay? And after with Chevrutot in Yeshivat Hebron, okay? And I learned every day with Rav Yosef Zevin, Daf Yomi, and we learned. After I go to the Negev, I was a Rosh Yeshiva in Netivot. I learned with Rabbi Sochor Meir. You know, we learned. And I was Rosh Yeshiva.
And you had smicha? You had smicha?
Yes, I had smicha from Rabbi Chaskel Serner. ודאי. אין שאלה, ודאי.
And which other Rabbanim were there in Hebron?
Oh, I was friends with alle. Stad Baron Cohen, עם רבי שייח חברוני, עם... It's all.
And did you ever go to Mir, Yeshivat Mir?
I go, but I don't learn.
But you went?
Yes.
And did you ever hear the shiurim of Reb Chaim Shmulevitz?
בטח, ודאי. I have the shiurim for him.
And you attended the shiurim? You went to some of the shiurim?
Yes, ודאי.
They say it was legendary. Those shiurim were legendary.
Oh.
And have you lived many years in Yerushalayim?
Yes.
Wow. So you were in the Negev, and from the Negev you came back to Yerushalayim?
Yes. Wow. And when I was in the Negev, I was Rosh Yeshiva, but was גם מורה, teacher.
You taught.
And I saw the military יחד.
Together?
Yes.
That'd be amazing, sure. תודה רבה רבה. So Gaby, you were the rabbi of Boys Town for how many years?
38 years. I was a ram in Boys Town. And the same time I was a teacher in a college, no religious.
Secular, it was a secular.
כן, בית חינוך תיכון in Katamon.
In the same time that you were the rabbi in Boys Town?
38 years, yes, same time.
You are an example for all of us to emulate. Yes. You really are. It's incredible. So thank you so.
היו לי תלמידות.
You had girl students.
כן. They're not Jews. זה בנות של השגריר האיטלקי.
The Italian embassy.
And they learned me. And every ימי הורים, they come to see the מורה for our בנות.
And you got on well with everybody.
Oh, they say, מורה זה משהו אחר, זה not רב, מורה, I'm not רב.
But did they know that you were a rabbi?
Maybe. מר קוסמן.
תודה רבה.